Here we go in. Hey, welcome everybody to another episode of Coach's Call, the real game. We're going to go behind the scenes here a little bit. I got probably one of my best friends, Rhett Riviere, with us tonight. We've been trying to get this done. We were trying to get this done for a while. We finally did get this done. I've got him here. And of course, we have our millennial vampire, Triston Dunn, Mr. Bet on Everything. If you don't believe me, guys, go to coachescall.store, hit the menu button, go down, and go join our Discord. This fool is betting NBA, NCAA basketball, hockey, soccer, tennis. Is there something I'm missing here, Triston?
LeBron fucked me so hard last night, I about forgot he was the GOAT.
And there we have it.
We broke the ice. With the GOAT. He went with the GOAT. Wow.
Man, yeah. I had him over 2.5 threes, and I got hooked. Fucking bullshit.
Never do it. Well, today, the beautiful thing I'm really excited about today is because we've got Rhett here. We're going to talk about, number one, not really UT football, but UT football. We're going to talk about minor league baseball, and we're going to name drop like I've never name dropped before. I'm so excited about this. It's really cool. Rhett Riviere, we work together. We're not going to mention that because I don't give a shit about that. What I want to do is talk about you. Rhett, tell us a little bit about yourself, where you went to high school. I know you didn't play college ball because you got drafted. Tell us a little bit about yourself, brother, and thank you for being here.
Absolutely. I appreciate y'all having me. Born and raised in Austin, Texas. I went to I went to, unfortunately, Westlake High School for 1 year, and I transferred over to St. Michael's Academy, where they had hired Calvin Schiraldi as their head baseball coach. Calvin has a pretty extensive background in baseball. We can talk about that in a bit. 1998, the Minnesota Twins drafted me out of high school. And contrary to what you had said, Rick, if you want to call what I did go to college, I did back then what they called a draft and follow. The Twins and I couldn't agree to terms, and I went to JUCO. Didn't really go to class. Luckily, I did. That's where I kind of met my wife. And then and then I did a follow the following year. They gave me the signing bonus I wanted, and 18-year-old kid off to Florida spring training and thinking I was going to live a life.
Wow, that's amazing, dude. You get paid to throw a baseball. We talked about this earlier. How cool is that, huh?
It's incredible. It's amazing that someone was dumb enough to give me a check to throw a ball.
That's awesome, brother. Well, hey, we're going to get to your to your pro ball experience here in a little bit. I've really wanted to dive into this with you. Your dad. What's your dad's name? Please introduce
Rob.
Your dad to the podcast, please.
Okay, my dad is Rob Riviere, born and raised in Houston, Texas. Was a big time high school football player and baseball player, and was actually, like me, was drafted out of high school by the New York Yankees, but chose to go play football at the University of Texas for Darrell Royal.
For Darrell Royal. And I wish I had a blow up behind me to show you got one of the best pictures, him on the sidelines. I don't know if they're talking strategy or he's getting his ass chewed, but it's a really, really, really cool picture. But Rhett, also, let's blow some minds here. You said it today. You come from good stock, brother. I mean, you come from good stock. Go ahead. Please don't be shy. Tell everybody that's listening a little bit about your family.
Gosh, this sounds kind of obnoxious, but my grandfather and his brother both played on the PGA Tour. Dad played college football. My mom was a college swimmer, along with an alternate on the Olympic team for the butterfly. And then my background was a professional baseball player.
All
and
that.
My dad's sister was an All-American in Texas and played on the LPGA.
God damn! Talk about the goddamn golden fucking tree.
Hey, Triston, and all of that athletic ability missed this bitch right here, boy. I mean, it just flew over his head.
Hey, I'm hoping it's in one of my 4 kids, bro.
I'm hoping, yeah, dude. I mean, especially old Buckethead that you're watching there. So yeah, if y'all are wondering why Rhett is in the dark, he's not a vampire. He's watching his boys practice. Go ahead, and this is how far these guys are into this. Tell the people exactly where you're at and what you can watch and why you park where you're
I
at.
was getting ready to say it's February and they're playing football.
Baseball.
Baseball.
Oh, okay,
Baseball.
okay.
So,
Rhett, where are you and what are you doing?
So my son's select baseball program, they have a facility just north of Pflugerville, kind of close to Hutto, and they have a turf field with bullpens, and next door is a warehouse. And I park down here, and I watch the bullpens in the field practice. I give two craps that they do in the batting cage. That's a pitcher, and I could care less about hitting. And I sit down here normally and drink adult beverages and enjoy my 2 hours of watching them. And I was telling Rick, I've got a group of dads that have all started to try to join me, and they're mad that they can't get in my truck tonight.
That's awesome. Yeah. I hate people too. Hey, all right, so let's get into it. Your dad, who
Okay.
I don't know if I've ever said this out loud. I was trying to explain to Triston. Your dad was a quarterback for the University of Texas at a time where there was only 4 or 5 legitimate schools that you would really look at. I mean, there was back then he was in what we call now a Power 5, correct? I mean, it's hard to disagree.
Yes.
Right?
100%.
Yeah, that's what. So the way I look at it, I mean, not only top 10, one of the top 10 quarterbacks, and he was in one of the top 5 programs in the nation. So, and back then, no holes barred. I'm sure the rule book was half the size that it is now. I'm sure your dad didn't wear a frilly little green jersey. Don't hit me, please, because I'm a fucking quarterback.
Tearaways, baby.
Yeah, tearaways, exactly. This is what I love, and this is what intrigues me about your father in that time. It's because you got to be a man to be a quarterback back then, brother. I mean, you're going to hand it off, but you may run, and when you run, you're going to get trucked. Tell me a little bit about maybe some of the stories or the things that you and your dad would talk about those days, bro.
So I'll tell you, the funny story, and if you sat down with my father, he'd probably tell you that going to the University of Texas was a mistake, because back in you're talking, he graduated high school in '69, and there were very few throwing quarterbacks, and that's what he was. He was a passing quarterback, but he was so in love with the University of Texas, and anyone who watched Texas back then knew they ran the wishbone. And my dad could run; he was fast, but his talent was really throwing a football. And I forget the schools he told me that he probably should have gone to take more advantage of his skill set. But I don't think he'd trade his time at the University of Texas and playing under Mike Campbell and Coach Royal and all those guys and the relationships he built. And the different experiences, the different bowl games, the Orange Bowls, the Cotton Bowls, playing against Penn State. He told a story one time when they played against Alabama, and oh God, what's his name? Came in the locker room after they beat Bama. Why am I drawing a blank? The coach of Bama.
Bear Bryant. Bear Bryant.
Yes, good Lord. Bear Bryant came in the locker room and shook every player on the team's hand and told him congratulations, and said it was one of the coolest moments of his life.
I would have never washed my hands.
Just Bear Bryant was in there with Darryl Royal.
Yeah. No.
Little things like that. He ended up tearing his ACL his junior year and was never the same. Didn't play his senior year much. But also you got to remember that was back when they had freshman ball. Freshmen couldn't play varsity. But he always bragged that his freshman class, when they played the varsity, stomped a mud hole in them one practice. And the varsity didn't take too kindly to that. The next scrimmage did not go so well. Nowadays the weak practices where you can't hit people, that didn't happen. People were getting their heads ripped off on the same team.
Well, that was back in the day where we didn't have I say we, geez, I'm dating myself. They didn't have they didn't have temperature gauges out there. You didn't have you didn't have people walking around with water bottles, and I mean,
Nope.
that was a whole different ball game, man. And I think that's the whole. I'm hoping one day I can sit there and actually. I've met your dad, but I've never talked to him. I'd love to sit there and pick his brain about things like that, because that's really that to me that was really that hard nosed football. And yeah, sometimes it would suck. The national champion or the Cotton Bowl would be 10-7 or 7-3, but it was such a good game to watch. I mean, it was just really. What are some of the big names that your dad played with?
Well, so like some of the fun stories he likes to tell are, he was part of the recruiting class. When you're an upperclassman and you got to host recruits, Earl Campbell was one of them. So
Nice.
helping recruit Earl to the University of Texas.
He
Obviously,
makes a
was
good
really good friends.
sausage, by the way.
Yes, he does. Very good. I think more through the years of after my dad played and growing up, being fortunate enough to be around the program, and meet a lot of the people that played at the university. And through my dad, I was able to meet my best friend whose dad coached with Mac Brown at Texas. And man, I've pretty much since I was probably 12 years old, have probably met every single big time UT football player you can think of because of those two relationships.
That's a great segue because, and it's okay, dude. It doesn't sound douchey at all. Okay, it's not going to sound douchey at all. But you
It
got to
might
have
just a
some
little,
perk.
but I still want to hear it.
Yeah, you got to. Your dad was a stud. Okay, it's just,
Yes.
if you're going to be a quarterback in Texas, you're going to be a stud. I don't care what year. I know little Colt McCoy. I took him and his boy. God, what was his right hand man? The receiver. They used to come fishing here on Lake
Oh,
Bastrop.
you're talking about Shipley.
Yeah, Shipley.
Sure.
Shipley. Yeah, Shipley. Yeah,
Mhm.
him and Shipley and all that. But still, McCoy's a stud. You play at Texas, dude. I don't care who you are, and I'm an Aggie, but you're a stud if you're going to be a quarterback there. What are some of the perks that you and your
Oh
boys?
man.
I mean, you always post pictures on Facebook and stuff during football season. Y'all get on the field, y'all do this, y'all do that. I mean, go ahead and be a douche for a little bit and tell us some of the perks you get.
Well, I mean, dude, for me, to gloat about my dad. I mean, you're talking about, first of all, just talk about an athlete. I mean, I don't know if you remember the old punt, pass, and kick. They used to have the Astrodome. He won that.
Boy.
He was all Houston
Yeah.
athlete. My dad was a stupid athlete. He was.
Yeah.
He was probably before his time as far as a quarterback. But
Yeah.
with that said, the perks of my dad playing at Texas are pretty nice. It typically takes a phone call and we're on the field or in the locker room. I'll never forget, that old school AstroTurf that was like falling
Yeah.
on pavement, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And we used to watch the games of what they call the 200 Horns Club, which was you're inside and it was all the big wigs. And
Yeah.
after the game, we go down to the sidelines, and I don't know if y'all remember Eric Metcalf,
Yes.
was a big
Yes.
running back. Him and Tony Jones were at Texas back then, and we go in, and I'm not joking, dude. He has a turf burn this big on his leg in the training room, and my dad's trying to introduce us, and he's screaming as the trainer's squirting alcohol on this thing. and Eric Metcalf still was putting his arm around me like, "Hey, little man, what's going on?" I'm like, man, I'm scared to death of that turf burn, right? I've never seen anything like that in my life. So, things like that, parties, like for instance, the party that I met my best friend at, that his dad was a coach. His dad was actually a coach here for Mackovic and was here a coach with Mac Brown. The reason I met him was because of my dad. I was at a party after one of the games for one of the big donors, Jim Bob Moffitt, and my best friend Kyle was just sitting on the couch, and that was how we met at 12 years old.
Wow.
Because I was at that party.
Wow.
Just
That's
a little
cool.
kid farting around Jim Bob Moffitt's big old house.
So you've met Vince Young and all them?
I have. So one of the perks of my best friend's dad when I was playing pro ball, I worked out at the football facility at Texas during my off season. I worked out with the football players honestly. I was in there at the same time they were lifting. I got to know all of them really well. I have been around Vince several times and met Vince a number of times. Yes.
And he is as big as he seems to be on TV. Well, he
God,
looks
he's
like a big,
massive. He
right?
is massive. Yeah, he's huge. He's
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah. Sometimes these guys, and I take it for granted
Mhm.
because we work together. We see each other almost every single day. I mean, I take it for granted how big you are. And I mean, you kind of dismiss it, but I mean, you're a big bastard, dude. I mean, you're big some bitch. It takes, I
Dude,
mean,
let me
I'll
let
take
me
him.
tell you something
Triston,
though.
I'll take his ass. Don't get me wrong. I'll take his ass. It just might take a little while.
Let me tell you something. You want to feel small and go stand on the sidelines one of those college football games and you feel tiny. It don't matter how big you are. And I've done a few of those, and my God, those guys are huge.
Yeah. Yeah. I've taken old Jacob Hill to A&M, watch Alabama. We were down there close, and I'm like, hey, you want to go down there? He goes, shit, no, I feel inadequate already from up here.
Man.
No way I want to go down there. That's awesome, dude. I am glad to hear you. I always wanted to hear about your dad. I love hearing about your dad from you. And one day I'm gonna get to interview one of your boys, and they can talk about you the way you talk about your dad. So thank you very much for that, brother. Thank you very much for that. I know that got a little
Yeah.
deep. That got a little deep,
No,
but
shoot.
the
I hope I
ultimate
provided
respect,
enough info.
for your pops, man, and then even I mean, especially the women in your family, all the athletic ability that's just, I mean, you talk about a good stock. If you're going to invest any money, Triston, this Riviere family, dude, you can buy a thoroughbred in there somewhere, brother. And I'm trying to invest in his middle son right now. His head's about this goddamn big. He's a big
He's a good.
submission.
He's a good little athlete.
Those are facts.
I'm hammering down my ranch waters here.
Get it, brother. So, Rhett, it seems like everywhere you go, and everywhere you go, everybody's played baseball at some point in time. Whether it's little league, high school, select. I mean, I played, D3 baseball, which really is nothing, but I mean, at least I played a little bit. I coached it for a lot of years. I love it. I hate watching it because it's boring, puts me to sleep. But I respect the game. I love the game. Everything about it. You chose to go directly out of high school to the pros.
Right.
I don't know what it's like. I don't know what it feels like. I've never had an opportunity to do something like that in anything, much less a sport that I absolutely love. So first of all, how many pitches did you throw? I'm going to break this
I
down a little bit.
threw a four seam, a two seam, a knuckle curve, and a split change. I didn't throw a traditional change.
Yeah.
I was just more of a split change.
It died
But
off to the right a little bit.
it was pretty wicked, my friend.
Yeah.
Pretty
Yeah.
wicked. But
I
yeah,
can,
it was, I threw four pitches.
yeah.
So,
So correct me if I'm wrong, Rhett, but I do want to educate some of these people that are listening. A little baseball. A two seam fastball is going to move.
it's going to run in. It's going to run in on a right-handed hitter.
On a right hander, it's going to run in on a right hander, away on a left hander. A four seamer. I've heard my people down south call it a rise ball. Doesn't necessarily rise, but it's a flat, hard, what we call a heavy fastball. Would you agree, or what, Rep?
Absolutely. So with the four seam fastballs, where you try to create most of your angle and most tilt, and you're trying to get good high to low. More times than not, your four seam is going to be a little flatter, just because it's going to have more velocity on it, more spin. But that's the one you're really trying to create tilt and drive and let it go. The two seam fastball, you're still throwing hard, but you're looking for that movement. It's more of an out pitch.
Yeah.
But that four seamer is I got you 1-2, I got you 0-2. I'm going to blow this by you.
Right.
Pitch.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
the down and away pitch. That's what that pitch is for.
Or if you do want to swing at it with a wooden bat, I'm going to crack it in half. And if it's on a cold day with an aluminum bat, it's going to sting like a son of a bitch.
It's also the pitch that if you want to smoke someone, you don't throw anything other than the four seamer.
Yeah. If you want to aim for the rib, throw a four seamer. It ain't going to move. It's going to go right there. So, your coach in high school, bud.
Oh man.
Come on, let's just go ahead and dive into the man, the myth, the legend.
Man, I was truly blessed, and you've gotten to know him pretty well, Rick.
Yeah,
To
yeah.
play for
So I am
Calvin.
blessed too.
Well, you've got you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
He's a special individual, and he means outside of my family, he's up there. Someone that means as much to me as anybody. He taught me a ton about the game of baseball. The people that don't know who Calvin Schiraldi is, if I just start saying the name and you look it up, you'll know real fast. Calvin was an All-American at the University of Texas, won a College World Series, was on the pitching staff with Roger Clemens and Mike Capel. He was the ace. He was the college pitcher of the year. Played in the big leagues for several organizations. Probably most well known for the '86 World Series. The runners on base, when Bill Buckner had the ball go through his legs, were Calvin's runners. He had
Triston,
just got.
you hear that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Just to give you an idea who we're talking about, but because
So,
I got a golf story coming up. I've got a golf story coming up here after this. Go ahead, but go ahead.
To give you a little quick background on that, and this is a true story. And as a pitcher, and McNamara was the coach of the Red Sox then. The inning before, which is the biggest no-no for a manager of all time, he told Calvin he was done.
Yeah.
Like he was done. And as a pitcher, when you're told you're done, you completely just deep breath, check out, you're done.
Yeah. Go give me a hot dog and a cigarette. I'm done. Yeah. Let's go.
Well, the Red Sox go get a couple runs. He looks over to Calvin and goes, "Hey, you're going back out." Well, I mean, at that time, you're trying to get reset, re-engaged. You're talking, This is the ALCS. This is to go to the World Series. And just, he did. It was gone. And people who don't play sports don't understand it. But once you disengage and you unlock, you're done. The process you go through to get yourself ready for a game, and you're locked in. But once you're done, man, you let it go. You're ready to drink a cold beer, put some ice on your shoulder, and chill.
So for you guys that are listening, the time, and me also have never been in a situation like that. It is the intensity. I mean, first of all, think about it. You're in a major league stadium, TVs, radios, fans, everything. This is your livelihood. This is what's going on. I mean, Calvin has pitched how many innings? How many innings did he go through?
This was going to be his third inning, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. This was going to be his third. He was what they back then. They don't have it. He's a long reliever now. Long reliever back then came in the seventh instead of the fourth.
Yeah, every pitch means something.
Yes,
like every single pitch means something. It means something not only the pitcher, but the catcher, the middle infielders, the outfield. Every pitch means something. There's a direction, there's a reason, there's a rhyme, there's everything. I mean, you talk about focus in for 3 innings. We would love to say 30 pitches because that's usually what we would want to do. But you are so locked into this. And then for the coach to say, okay, you're done.
Yep.
It's like taking off a 1,000-pound vest and going, okay, now I'm done. And now you're done. And then for the son of a bitch to come back and go, never mind, put it back on. We got to go shoot some more bullets.
Go ahead, Rhett. Never will. Not going to happen. Will never work. There ain't a professional athlete in the world that would tell you, "Oh, I'd be fine to go back out there." Not one.
Right.
Not one. I mean, it'd be like you go tell Tommy Brady who just retired and tell him with 3 minutes to go, "Hey, you're out of the game," and all of a sudden the other team scores a couple touchdowns, tell him to re-engage while he's been over there, with his hat on, thinking about whatever it is Tom Brady thinks about, and all of a sudden you got to re-engage. It ain't happening.
So he walks to the end of the dugout and he goes to Schiraldi and says, "Hey, bud, I need you to go back out there. Finish the story, Rhett."
And so he goes back out, and Calvin gives up a couple hits, and they replace him, and they come up and a little rollover ground ball to Bill Buckner and right through his legs. Mets end up winning, and between Buckner and Calvin, they went on and lost Game 7 after that, and the Miracle Mets went on to win the World Series. That had a huge impact on Calvin's life. I'm not going to get emotional about it, but some of the emails and the phone calls and the letters that I've seen that he's received from Boston fans through the years has been pretty awful. And I don't mean to throw a plug in, but I seriously, if anybody's really interested in how that all played out, go buy his new book, The Arena, that just came out. It's incredible. It'll tell
Say,
you the full story. It'll tell you the full story.
say
So
that
The
again.
Arena
The
by
arena.
Cal, the Arena by Calvin Schiraldi. It's incredible. We just did a release on it a few months ago, and it is his life story, and it's about what the '86 series did to him personally in his personal life, and the years and years after that, beyond like coaching me in high school and all that. It's deep. It's very deep.
We need to
Don't
plug
don't
that on our website and everything in social media there, Tristan.
don't laugh when I ask this, but is there an audiobook for it?
So hey, my wife asked the exact same thing, and they are working on it. It'll probably be really good because from what I understand, Calvin is probably going to narrate it. So,
Oh wow.
yeah.
Because don't get me wrong, I'd love to read it, but like I know me, I'll buy it, I'll never read it. I gotta listen to it.
You know what I'll do?
So I did.
I bought a dictaphone. I'll read it out loud on my dictaphone, and I'll send you a fucking chip, Tristan. Okay?
Did you
I-
buy?
I
a
love
dic-
you that much.
Did you buy a dictaphone because of Lewis Litt?
Exactly right. That's exactly right. From Suits,
So
I did.
I will tell you, he did it. He used it at work the next day. It was hilarious.
Yeah. Yes.
You should be ashamed. You should be ashamed of yourself.
Shut your mouth,
So-
dude. Hey,
So to tell you that, to your point about the book being audio, like I had to give a speech when we did the book unveil, and like the first thing I said is I don't read books either. The first thing I did was I went and looked at the pictures. Looked at the pictures. I looked at the front picture. I looked at the back, and I thumbed through it. I did. I looked at the pictures. I did.
I love you, Rhett.
I said that in my speech. I did, and but the picture on the back, if you ever get it, and I'm not at home, or I'll show you what it looks like. It tells so much about Calvin and the man that he is, and the impact he's had on lives has been significant. What he had on my life was significant. I probably wouldn't have played professional baseball if it weren't for him. As talented as I was, he's completely different for me, and he's become a really good friend, and he's gotten to experience some cool things. He's allowed me to be a part of those cool things, and it's been a special relationship, and he's a very special individual.
So he
Rick,
came
I know
back. He
you
came
got a
back and
story.
coached. He came back and coached private school baseball.
So when Calvin got done playing, he went back and got his degree, and he went to Westlake High School. You talk about a dang good high school baseball. Him and Kelly Gruber were teammates at Westlake, and they won the state title. Yeah, talk about loaded. And they won the state championship. Well, Calvin wanted to be the head baseball coach at Westlake High School. And so the only route to do that was to do his teacher aide stuff, and he ended up being an assistant at St. Michael's, and then he got the head job, which I know he was planning on that to just be temporary until he went to Westlake. And you'll if you get the book or the audio part, you'll hear this part. But I was there, and I don't mean to say that to sound cocky, but it kind of started things off for him. And then my junior and senior year, we won the state championship both years. And the program was on its way, and he just found a place that made him happy, and he was able to build a program, and I mean, he completely revamped that place with facilities and all that, and it truly. I don't think I've ever taken you down there. It is probably the prettiest setting for a baseball yard in all of Austin, Texas.
You've told me about it. You've told me about it. You're taking me there. But isn't it funny?
Yes.
Isn't it funny how if you do things right, you end up where you're supposed to?
Yes,
Right.
and he did. He would tell you that was where he was supposed to be.
Exactly.
And he's deep.
I don't think
deep in his faith.
And I don't. It's not about. Say it again. What'd you say?
I said, and Calvin is very deep in his faith.
Yes.
Very deep in his faith.
So, I've only known Calvin a couple of years, Mr. Schiraldi, through Rhett, and I tried very hard. And Calvin, if you ever listen to this is true, bud. I tried very hard the first couple of times meeting you not to geek the fuck out. Like I really, really did. I thought I did a pretty good job because I'm that guy. I mean, dude, Calvin Schiraldi, who didn't want to be him? Who didn't want to be on that Texas baseball team? Are you kidding me? I tried very hard not to, but he is such a down to earth guy. Like if you were to walk by him, you would have no idea. Like you just walked by something special and you had no idea. And I'm not saying this, for him to hate me, but this is how I feel. And we've played golf a couple times. And I'm going to bring up the story. We played golf a couple of times, having a great time. And no, I'll tell you what, I'm going to let Rhett tell the story. Rhett, we played golf.
No. Go ahead, because I may have the wrong story because there's a few stories. So go ahead.
So we're it's a par three, and I can't remember what tournament we were playing in. Was it a tournament or were we just playing? I don't remember.
We were just playing. I was just wondering if you were going to tell us how you greeted him in the pro shop before we even got on the golf course.
Okay, so we'll start there. So we're at I think it's Star Ranch. I walk in after a long night of drinking. Coach Z's he does his shit, bro. This is, Friday night. So I go out, I do my stuff. Saturday morning, I walk in. I'm running a little late, but it's okay. So I walk in, cap on backwards. I'm just, I'm trying to hurry up, open the two front doors to the clubhouse. And I said, "Where are all the white women at?"
So loud where the whole room could hear it, and I just put my head down and I looked at I'm like, man, that's Rick. He's playing with us today.
Was that your first time meeting him?
Huh? No, it wasn't his first time meeting him. He'd met him before. But it was really good. But then we get out to the golf course, and the story he's going to tell on the golf course, one of the funniest things I've ever experienced in my life on a golf course.
So we're sitting there. I'm going to tell the truth from my side. It ends up being funny. So we're playing golf, and these guys are pretty serious about their golf, Triston. I mean, these bitches right here. This guy can hit it, 360, 370. Like he doesn't give a shit. I mean, there's a couple other guys. Or Blair, the other dude, he can hit it out there too. And anyway, you can play a 7,000 yard course, and Rhett here will take a driver, a 9-iron, a wedge, and a putter, and basically beat your brains in with 3 fucking clubs. That's the people I'm playing with now, right? We're playing okay. There's a little par 3, and the par 3 slopes backwards, right? And back behind it is a little pond, beautiful little hole. So we Calvin hits it a little bit long. Well, I hit it. I hit a pretty good shot. I'm not going to brag, but I hit a pretty good shot. I'm below the hole, putting uphill. So I've got my feet on the rocks right before the water. Well, Calvin putts. Well, we're playing kind of like the pros play, like, you don't move it around a lot. It's really, well, the ball keeps rolling. And keeps rolling, and it's going to hit my feet. So I just lift up my foot, and the fucking ball goes in the water.
Like we all looked at him like you couldn't stop the ball.
Rick, you're such a dick.
Dude, a $15 Pro V1.
This is like a $15 Pro V1, and Calvin looks at me and goes, "Is he fucking serious?" I went, "I don't know."
I think so. The ball's at the bottom of the pond.
Calvin runs down, tries to pick up Rick's ball and throw it in the water.
That was great.
I can promise you this: Calvin hasn't forgotten, and he will get him back next time we play. There's no doubt in my mind that it's coming.
That was such a great day.
Oh, dude, it was. I've had some really good laughs, and a lot of them have been with UZ on a golf course, but that one's right up there.
Triston.
That one's right up there.
Oh my gosh, Triston, you're playing with some athlete that you admire, you respect, you look up to, you kind of geek out about, and you don't want to fuck up, but you don't want to fuck up. Like stop. Like what? So I'm like, fucking, I just lift my head trying to play it cool. Ended up being a great fucking play.
Well, do you mean can I hop in on this?
Go ahead.
To your point, Z, you talk about geeking out, and I'm going to kind of stay on the topic, but I'm going to move a little bit. You talk about geeking out was the first time that I got invited to play golf with Calvin and Roger Clemens and Spike Owen. And I could barely swing the damn club back. It was at Spanish Oaks. I'm on the first tee. And you're talking as a kid, Roger Clemens was my idol. That was my guy. You know,
Dude,
and
Spike
Calvin
Owens.
even knows
Spike
that.
Owens was my guy when I was in high school. Watch, that was my guy. He was small. He was fiery. I loved it. Go ahead.
And you know what's funny is I knew Spike before I ever knew Calvin. I knew Spike because he was a member at the country club my dad was at, and he always worked out there, so I got to know him. And he actually worked.
Did you
with
get
my
that,
older brother,
Triston? I was a member of the country club.
Shut up.
Are you getting all this shit right?
Shut up. Sorry, I keep looking off to the left because Captain Forehead's throwing a bullpen right now. So if you see me looking over, I'm watching him throw a bullpen. So, anyways, I'm literally. We go up to the first tee, and I'm listening to these guys talk about just stupid money they're going to gamble, and I'm looking at Calvin going, "Man, I ain't playing for that much." And Calvin's like, "I know," but Calvin also lies to Roger about my handicap. He told Roger I was 10. Which, you know I'm not a 10.
No.
And I mean, I'm shaking in my boots. They both hit where it's.
And Roger's not a small man. Right?
No, he's a big man. He's a big man. He's a very big man. So I've shown you that picture of me, him, and Capel and my boys. He's a big man. And like I'm standing there taking my practice swings, and I am a nervous wreck, right? And everyone's hit a breakfast ball. Everyone in the group so far has hit a breakfast ball, which means you get to hit 2 off the first tee. I cold topped the very first one, like flat out. It went maybe 40 yards. And I felt like I was getting a mound visit from Calvin in high school because it was Calvin and I against Roger and Spike. Calvin comes over and he's like, "Dude, just relax, just breathe." I'm like, "Dude, that's Roger Clemens. Like, sorry, that's." And I had met Roger before, but now I'm playing golf with this guy.
Right.
I take a deep breath and I hit one of my freaking big high draws and nuked it. And I hit it on the green. It's a par 5. I knock it on the green in 2, and I 2-putt for birdie. And Roger is MFing Calvin as we walk off the green. And I think I shot like 71. And Roger was so mad because they honored the 10 handicap, and it got ugly.
So you know Roger Clemens like personally now?
If I saw Roger, yes, we would say hello to each other. I've met him a few times.
Oh, like you don't have his phone number?
I don't have his number. I have some other guys' numbers you'll know.
Z?
But
I'm telling you, want a name drop. So one of my mother's greatest Christmas gifts ever. I'm going to say it out loud because she's never shown. I mean, she's shown people, but she's never put it on social media. She's never put it out there. Is a family photo of Drew Brees. That's Rhett's buddy, man.
Rhett. Okay, so we're going to talk off air about something. I'm gonna.
No. That's what we're here for.
Well, no, not what I'm gonna ask.
Okay.
What are some of the other names that you said you know some people, the names that I would know? I'm interested now. My curiosity.
Well, you know that Drew Brees went to Westlake. He's a Westlake boy.
I didn't know that, but I do know who Drew Brees is.
Nick Foles,
very well.
Drew Brees, all those guys. They're all Westlake boys. They're all Austin boys. It's a tight clique over here, brother. I mean, it is a tight clique. But
I mean,
go ahead.
Drew and I grew up together, so that's how Drew and I played sports growing up all the way through. And yep, and
tell him your football story, Rhett.
He was a class ahead of me. He was in my brother's class at Westlake, and I was a good quarterback. I had a strong arm, and Westlake had kind of been paying attention. They had plans for me coming to Westlake. And the day before 2-a-days, my freshman year at Westlake, I quit football. I said, I'm done. I'm out. And my first day at Westlake High School, I get pulled into the coach's office and I get called every name under the sun that nowadays would be a lawsuit because the wussification of America goes on. And literally they told me everything, whatever you can imagine, they called me, and that they had plans for me, that I was going to be the next quarterback at Westlake, blah, 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 blah. Well, they just didn't know that they had Drew Brees. And I probably was never going to be the quarterback.
Drew Brees. No, I'm going to say this, Rhett. I'm going to say this. I don't care. And Drew Brees, he's never going to hear my podcast anyway. I'm going to say this.
You don't know that.
If it wasn't for Rhett quitting, we might never have known of Drew Brees ever.
Yeah, you hear that?
Let that shit sink in. Let this shit sink in. Hey, Sean Payton, if it isn't for my guy right here, Rhett Riviere, quitting football, you might have never won a Super Bowl, Peyton. Let that shit sink in, big boy.
Let me tell you one of my biggest pet peeves about that involves Drew is when he was playing, you'd watch Fox NFL Sunday, and they'd talk about, they'd be talking about Michael Vick or one of these other guys and how the better athletes in the NFL, right? They're
right.
And then they go, and then the lesser athletes, Drew Brees, and they go Peyton Manning and all that. And every time they said that, it pissed me off like nobody's business. Because what people don't know about Drew Brees is he was a better baseball player than he was a football player in high school. Like, stupid good at baseball.
Yeah.
He was the point guard on the basketball team at Westlake with Chris Mim and Luke Axtell on that team. Both those guys played in the NBA and played at Texas and Kansas. He was also the number one tennis player in the state ahead of Andy Roddick in high school. He's also a single-digit handicap golfer. Just because you don't run a 4.340 does not make you a non-athlete. I mean, the dude is an athlete.
So I'm just gonna ask, what do we gotta do to get Drew on here?
I can talk
drunk.
So,
I don't know.
No, seriously, and I'll tell him when he's on. If you can get him on here, I spent the better part of my childhood hating Drew Brees because of this.
Because of what?
North Carolina.
I'm a Panthers fan.
He's a Panther.
Well, are you a Tar Heels fan at least?
Nah, I don't really. I'm not into college sports like that. I used to be when I was a kid.
Well, I'm sorry for the painful years of Carolina Panthers. I
fuck Matt Rule.
So we're not following Nebraska now.
No, I hope Nebraska burns to the ground.
Well, I can agree with you on that. I've wanted that for years.
It doesn't take much. All it takes is one match.
I spent the better part of my childhood watching Drew Brees torch Carolina, respectfully, but I'll tell him that if he ever joins the podcast.
I get that as a fan. I will tell you this: as many athletes as I've met, there's nobody that I watch on TV and am in person or talk on the phone to that. What you see in Drew is exactly what you get. He is that person no matter where you are. He was that guy when we were kids. He's that guy. It's not a show. He doesn't put on a facade. Like Rick and I talked about a couple of weeks ago at work. A lot of people think Roger Clemens is an asshole. And he puts on that facade. Yeah. He puts that out there when he's in front of the media, when he's on the field, when he's doing those things. You get him one-on-one and hanging out with him, it's the coolest dude ever. He's awesome. Absolutely awesome.
I think that's the thing that really made me fall in love with Calvin even more, is because I don't know. See, I think I would be that complete and total asshole dick if I had done what Calvin done, or what Roger, or especially Drew, Roger. If I was the great athlete, I think I would be the complete and total dickhead, and Calvin is the complete opposite. And you talk about,
See, I love you, but I would agree with you.
yes, no, 100%. There's no doubt in my mind, none at all. And that's why, and so I'm the first couple of times I met Calvin, trying not to geek out. Like I put a tack in my shoe and I kept stepping on it to keep reminding me to calm down, just shut the fuck up, let it happen, right? But then Calvin's just Calvin, like.
Yep.
Just
Dude,
like he'll come into the dealership. Triston, he'll come into the dealership. I don't know where Rhett's at. And me and Rhett sit side by side every day. Calvin would come to the dealership, sit down, look at me with the dip in his mouth and go, "What's up, dude?" "Nothing, man." I will turn everything off and sit there and just shoot the shit. Where's Rhett? I don't know. Knowing I can pick up my phone and he can too. "Hey, Rhett, Calvin, I won't do that so I can have my alone time with Calvin." Until Rhett gets here. That's a fact.
Dude, I would geek the fuck out if Drew Brees talked to us for fucking 30 minutes. I would geek the fuck out.
Yeah.
I'm
telling you, I've got Calvin right here. To me,
So.
Calvin and Drew is no different. Calvin and Roger, no different. Calvin and Drew, no different. Calvin to me was the same thing, dude. I'm telling you. I believe you. I believe you.
No, and you know one of the most enjoyable things is, one of the things I geeked out on the most was you talk about that golf round. Listening to them talk trash to each other is it is epic. I mean, it is epic, and I'm like just a kid in a candy store, just listening to them go back and forth. Like you got Spike Owen, Gold Glove, you got Roger Clemens, you got Calvin Schiraldi, and all they are is friends. They're just a bunch of college buds. It makes no. It's like the trash talking we do to each other at work, Rick. And It's just, and I'm just sitting there going, and I mean, it's mom jokes, sister. I mean, it is.
Yeah.
I mean, it is no holds bars, and I am laughing my butt off to make sure that I laugh at the appropriate time, so I don't get that awkward. What the hell are you laughing at?
Yeah. The only difference is I don't have a Cy Young and neither do you. I never pitched in the World Series and neither have you. Other than that, it's just the same. It's the same exact thing, Rhett.
I play pro ball, guys.
I love it.
So, but yeah, it's I geeked out over that. That's probably the biggest thing I geeked out over was the first golf round. I've had the pleasure of playing twice with them, but I was a complete dork for that golf round. I really, really was. Like as far as Drew goes, I've known Drew so long that Drew's just Drew. It's like talking to Rick. It's just whatever, dude. You're just Drew, or as they call it is.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, man. But I think we're all that way with certain things, right? I've been blessed sports wise to get to experience some cool things. UT football, professional baseball. I've been blessed, and it's been a lot of fun. I sometimes pinch myself, and I hope to experience a lot more. I wish my baseball career would have ended a little differently, but life goes on. But I got to do it, and like Rick and I joked about today, some idiot decided to hand me a check every 2 weeks to throw a dang baseball. So what's cooler than that?
Pretty cool. I begged a dude to give me a Big Mac and a cot, and I'll play minor league baseball as long as you want me. Just give me a cot and a Big Mac every day, and I'll play baseball. I wasn't good enough for even that, so I didn't get a chance. But I'll tell you, go ahead.
You know what you really would have been? You'd have been Charlie Hustle.
I'd have been Charlie Hustle. Yeah, give me the Charlie Hustle award. I'd have done that. Here's the cool thing, and so my mom has it framed now. Talking to Rhett about it, and not just saying how much my mom has like 3 or 4 Drew Brees jerseys. I had no idea. Like it was just like surprising years ago. Like I'm like, what the? Oh, my Drew. I'm like, oh, you didn't know. Oh no, Drew. Just fell in love with Drew. She didn't even know Drew went to Westlake. My mom lives here in Pflugerville. She just fell in love with Drew. And how can you not listen to his interviews after every game? He's got all his 18 kids and his beautiful wife. And it's a great thing. And Rhett, one Christmas said, "Hey, Rick, this is for your mom, as long as, it doesn't she didn't share it and all that. But this is for your mom, man. I'm telling you, I can't top that gift. I mean, Rhett screwed me for the rest of my life. I can't top that gift.
What was it?
A picture of Drew and his family. The Christmas photo, and my mom. It was for her. Here you go. I mean, I'm not a retard. It's for everybody, or for his close family. But she has something that not a lot of people have, and she framed it and she has it up, and it's her Drew, and and so she cheers no longer for the Saints because Drew's not there.
Well, I don't either. I don't cheer for the Saints anymore either. I only cheer for him because of Drew. But and if you remember, I sent you that video of I don't know if you ever showed her that when he called Leighton and told him happy birthday. That video deal he did for Leighton.
Oh yeah. She cried. Yeah. I mean, this is
my 16-year-old son he aspires to be Drew Brees. He wants to be Drew Brees, and hey, more power to him. Keep working.
So Leighton is 16, right?
He is 16.
And high school. What's the name of the high school? I don't want to screw it up.
Dominic Savio private school here.
Dominic Savio private school. If you guys get a chance, you can go. I mean, I'm sure there's YouTube clips and stuff of this kid slinging the pill. I mean, he throws a tight one, man. I mean, he can freaking sling it. He's got a quick trigger. If Rhett will ever let Jughead come and spend a week at Camp Z, I will turn him into the best outside linebacker this world has ever seen. He's watching him hit and take middle infield right now, but I'm just saying, without saying it. Dana, thank you. Hey, Dana, I want to thank you for letting me borrow Rhett for a little bit and talk about your kids and everything. If you've never seen anybody float on a cloud, glide across water, y'all need to go meet Dana Riviere. She makes this whole thing happen. Like, without Dana, there would be no Rhett, there would be no Jughead, there would be no Leighton, there would be nothing.
There would be
Dana,
no Drew Brees.
Yeah, there would be no Drew Brees. I mean, Dana.
Oh, jeez. No, there would be a Drew Brees. There's no doubt. Drew would have.
There would be a Drew Brees, but we would not know him.
No, he'd have beat my ass out, or he'd have gone and played professional baseball if I did something. So.
I'm telling you, dude. I'm telling you. This is what I wanted to know, Triston. I wanted you to hear this first, Triston.
Hey, can I tell you one other funny story about Drew, or do you have to get off?
No, bud. We ain't getting off till you want to. Go ahead.
Drew tore his ACL his junior year of high school. And he literally had just got done with surgery, and Westlake's doing their baseball fundraiser, which was a long ball contest. This dude slings it from the left side. He gets in the box, stands on one leg, and wins the long ball contest. Like, just the most natural flick of the hand swing, looked like freaking Mickey Mantle up there. Just
say it again. Say it again from the beginning. I don't believe this. Say it again.
100%. Tore his ACL his junior year. Tore it right before state championship, and ended up, he had torn ACL. Goes to the baseball season, cannot play the baseball season. Westlake's having their fundraiser, which is a long ball contest. They do an old deal where you go to people and they, give you a dime for every foot you hit a ball. Well, Drew does the fundraiser. He goes down there and literally puts all his weight on his front leg and just sits there flicking his wrist, hitting nukes out of the yard. 100%.
Okay, two things are unbelievable about this. Number one, Austin Westlake. If you're only paying 10 cents per foot, you cheap fucks, you make so much money over there. You got to pay more money than that.
It was just an example.
Okay. All right. Hey, Chance, if you ever listen to this, pay more than 10 cents a foot. Come on, dude. Anyway, Chancey, I love you. You're my guy. You're my guy. You're my guy. Yes, just a flick of the wrist. Amazing. Rhett, I want to get a little serious with you because we're going to go over time here, and I love it. Let me ask you this, bud, because I know you went through it. Your kids are going through it. You do believe in it as long as you are involved, and you need to be because you're a father. Select ball. You're in high school. Your kids are in high school. or I mean, let's say you already have 2 kids in high school, basically, right?
Mhm.
That select ball and high school ball. How, if you had some advice for a dad that, let's say he was a high school warrior, or he wasn't a high school warrior, or whatever. If you if you had to have a meeting with all these dads and say, okay, dads, here's how you got to approach this.
Mhm.
What would be a couple of things that you would tell them going into either season, select ball or high school ball? Dude, here's what we got to do. Here's the mindset.
You're talking about as far as the direction I'd point them in raising their kids and stuff, or you just
Yeah.
talking about once they're in high school?
Yeah, no. What would you do? Like, hey, Johnny Ballgame over there has a boy. He's a shortstop. You
Right.
know, you don't want him climbing all over the damn fence, talking shit to the coach or whatever. You know, Johnny Ballgame. Here's how you need to do it.
Well, first of all, the truth is I hate select baseball. If you
Thank you.
want my honest opinion.
Tommy Boggs, I love you and I respect you, but yeah, I hate it.
Yeah, rest in peace, Coach Boggs.
Yes.
I hate select baseball. I don't mind it at the high school level. I hate where it is on the youth level. I wish these kids played Little League baseball so that I can turn on Williamsport every year and watch that product.
Yes.
But they've killed it. They've ruined it. They've forced my hand as someone who doesn't enjoy it to put my kid in select baseball before I wanted to, only because my kids would play in Little League. They can't, the kids they're playing with, they're getting nothing out of it.
Right.
So no, I'm not a fan of it. The other thing is this single sport mind we're in now at a generation of these kids at 10, 11, 12, 13. Oh, we're going to focus on baseball. Load of crap. You go ask any high-end coach, they will tell you, we want people that play multiple sports. We want you to play all the sports. You be an athlete.
We want you to compete year in, year out.
Learn to compete. Don't be, I played fall ball and now I'm going to spring ball. Pardon my language, fuck fall baseball at a young age.
Yes.
Like it is the biggest piece of crap I've ever heard of, and I've caught ample stuff from people say, "Oh, you're a baseball player. Why don't you let your kids play fall ball?" You know why? Because it's football season. And guess what fall's at? Basketball season. Also, there's golf season. You know, and also there's off season.
Oh. And there's tennis. I played high school tennis.
Yes. 100%.
Tennis is a shit. I wish I would have played tennis in high school.
Yes. Shoot. I mean, you know, we joke about it at work all the time. Look at the life these golfers get to live. I mean, good night. That's the way to go. Shoot. They play in the best environment, the best courses. I mean, I know they're all dorks.
They get to divorce the prettiest women in the world.
They're married to the most beautiful women in the world. Like, I don't care if they're dorks. Look at
you. You need to shut your mouth because you're married to Dana. So you need to watch yourself.
I am truly blessed. Truly blessed. I am the luckiest. I way outkicked my coverage. But I got off. So I would encourage, if someone was willing to sit down with me, I would encourage them to let their kids play all the sports they want to play. I would tell them to make sure, if they are dead set on being with an organization, make sure that the organization has their kids' best interest at heart, and that they're going to develop their kid. Because let's be honest, I don't give a rat's about the ring you win every Sunday. I want my kids to compete, but I don't want them in an organization that's about winning the plastic ring every Sunday. I want them to go out and compete and get better. And if they're not doing that and they're not developing, we're wasting our time and we're wasting a bushel full of money. A bushel full of money.
Yeah, exactly.
And so, so with that said, I don't like it. There's too many. Rick, you and I talk about this all the time. It's not select baseball anymore. It's my kid didn't make the team, so I'm going to find 9 guys and I'm going to create a team. And it's very frustrating for me as a baseball guy. But it is what it is. This is the world we live in today. Everyone gets a freak. Everything is a
Ponzi scheme. Everything is a Ponzi scheme.
Yes.
Everything. It doesn't matter.
Yes.
As long as you're making the money, you're making the money. Triston, do you have any other questions for my guy Rhett? I'm going to have him on again. This is the last one. This was a lot of fun.
I get long-winded.
No. It's fine. We've got a lot more things to cover. And as a matter of fact, I think I want to have him on a little bit during baseball, and then when football season starts again, because he's got a different look at everything. You got anything for Rhett before we go?
Nope.
All right. Rhett, I appreciate you being on, brother. Thank you so much. I know we've talked about it a bunch. Everything we talked about was golden. I mean, absolutely golden. We've got a lot more to talk about. I hope everything goes great with your kids and everything. And like I said, maybe one day I can interview your kids too. But
bring Drew with you next time.
Bring Drew with you. Fellas, I appreciate everything you've done. Thank you. Everybody have a great weekend. I'll see you later. This is Coach's Call, the real deal. Adios.